Calls are rising from conservatives that the head of the Justice Department, Pam Bondi, should be fired by President Trump. But why would they want to dump her at such a pivotal time? Well, we've got answers. It's a slip-up on aisle Pam again. It's not the Epstein situation. No, in fact, this time, it may actually somehow be worse. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to cover the news you need to know, explaining entertainment and keeping you ahead of the culture curve. Today, we're talking about something that is dear and near to anybody associated with entertainment or storytelling or communications, and that is speech. The kind you like, the kind you don't like, what's legal, what's not. Today, we'll be talking about Pam Bondi, who has slipped up yet again in a major way, to the point that many conservatives say now is not the day, it is not the time, she needs to step aside. We've got the info. Click the like button, drop a comment down below, and here we go. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, some call her Pamela, has weighed in the light of the tragedy with Charlie Kirk. And I don't mean to be a jerk, but she keeps failing over and over and over. And this time, it dives into the area in which we cover, which is entertainment and speech. Here we go, folks. I said, stop talking and start arresting. Yesterday, you're 0 and 2 in the biggest moment so far. And the reason I said that is because of a clip we're going to play in just a minute regarding Pam Bondi, but I'll read the first part of what she says. Hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. For far too long, we've watched the radical left normalize threats, call for assassinations, and cheer on political violence. That era is over. However, folks, when we read this, you would say, well, Pro, she's saying the right things. And I would say, yeah, and this she is, because it's a cleanup, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. But obviously, it has always, my entire lifetime, been illegal to call for criminal activity and to incite people to engage in criminal activity, right? So I don't understand why we're just talking about that. Like, where are the arrests? We're calling, listen, we're telling you, we don't have the power to make the arrests happen. We're telling you they should have already been happening. Like day one, arrests should have been happening. And with some of the streamers and influencers out there that we've talked about, who clearly, obviously, are calling for more of this and putting people in danger. Even to the point of, we covered recently the influencer and streamer Destiny, saying that conservatives should fear death when they're out in public. Now, Jonas J. Campbell, who's here on the panel, had this to say. He said, I'm using my free speech to say that Pam Bondi needs to be fired. There should be no legal definition of hate speech. We are not the UK, we're the United States. Freedom of speech is critical. There's a difference between justly hiring people for celebrating a murder and a high-level government official calling for employers to fire people. From the Blaze, we'll play this now, and then this will make sense why they had to put out the statement before. Again, here's the statement. All right, that's the cleanup. Here's the original. This is what Pam Bondi, Attorney General, said, who she's already not been doing well. Now she's really not doing well. Here's the content.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across.
All right, Jonas, this woman is not qualified, I believe. I mean, listen, a lot of people liked her in Florida. She is really bad at this job. The only thing you can say is she's better than Jeff Sessions. Jonas, what is the critical error she is making here?
Well, she's acknowledging she is a government official. She is a high-level government official. She is the Attorney General of the United States, and she is talking about hate speech, which implies that there is a legal definition of hate speech, of which there should be no legal definition of hate speech. Hate speech is a dangerous concept because, and I'm not saying that people need to say hateful things to each other. I'm a Christian. I'm against all of that. But hate speech it seems to be classified in the perception of it. One person's speaking truth to power is another person's hate speech. So if there is a legal definition of hate speech, that would be decided upon by someone with political power. And we've seen the kind of speech that has been deemed dangerous in the United States. I'm sure that at some point, hate speech, if there were legislation to say what hate speech is, and there probably is something on the book somewhere, so forgive me for that. If the number of things that could be considered hate speech in a dangerous regime is too high, whether it's the definition of a medical treatment and whether or not people need to take that medical treatment, therefore, for your own good, speaking against this medical treatment is a bad idea. It is not even a slippery slope. It is taking the legs out from underneath you when you're trying to have free speech in the United States. And I think an attorney general who does not understand the difference between violent rhetoric and hate speech is not qualified for the position. Also release the list.
Right. So yeah. So the incitement is illegal, right? So you could be arrested for telling someone that you're going to do something that's criminal, obviously. Okay. And predators get arrested all the time for that. You can't make threats against people. You'll get arrested for obvious reasons, right? So that's illegal. That's always been illegal. And the idea that we have an attorney general who in this very moment, when she could come out and say, we are currently arresting every person who has made threats of violence or has incited violence, we're raiding their houses right now. And instead, she comes out and flubs it big time again. Culture, I'm tired of her flubbing this. You know, whether it was the influencers who got brought to the White House for a complete and total nothing burger that then blew up in everybody's face, or whether it's this, where I don't know why they're not in jail yet. I'm tired of the talking, and I'm tired of talking that's actually inaccurate.
Well, Pro, I think I think a lot of times that emotions are probably largely to blame in her decision-making process. We had a beautiful, eloquent mention of having yourself in check before and understanding what you're made of, what you believe in before going into an emotional situation is so important. I don't think she applies any of that. I think oftentimes she's reacting with her gut, and while in some situations that's good, if you are just allowing emotions to rule the day, that's not leadership, and that's a problem. Many people in government have been doing that for a very long time. In her case, though, she seems to let the press get in front of it. She lets her press office get in front of it, and you've got a lot of people that are not really leaders of government that are maybe in that decision-making process. So what I would hope for, Pro, is that she looks at the law and applies it like she's a Supreme Court justice to the things that she's going to try to make happen, in her office before she actually speaks. And I don't think she does that.
I'll tell you, Culture, why she's so dangerous, and the reason is because for the past 10, 15 years, conservative and centrist news media have been suppressed tremendously in almost every way on the internet. And part of the way that they've been suppressed is to say that their political opinions, the majority American opinions, are distasteful and unworthy and even hateful. And part of what the left attempted for a long time is to say that engaging in just the viewpoints of the mainstream American thought process was quote unquote hate speech. So if you say, hey, women have the anatomy of women, that was labeled hate speech, and they would try to get you fired, and they would try to make sure that your articles were never read, your videos were never seen, your Facebook posts could not be consumed because they're obscene. There was an effort to silence people using this hate speech mechanism. So for her to come out and not recognize that there's already a system in place to put these people in jail. We don't have to go down the road of the UK to do that. That's stupid. And it will be used against the mainstream Americans as soon as the transition of power happens. So we can't allow that. And it's just, Marvin, it's so darn frustrating to me that she has a clear cut, like, this is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Why are they not in jail? And she flubs it again.
Yeah, it's almost like you shouldn't even say anything anymore, Pam, unless you have something to deliver. Because her entire regime has been, defined by talking about things that are going to happen that never end up materializing. I, like many other people, have never forgiven her for the list situation. And it seems as though, this is another one of those situations, but by choosing to use the term hate speech instead of inciting violence or violent speech or something like that, that's a dangerous, slippery slope. Because if we make hate speech now illegal, then what's to stop the next, let's say the other side takes power again. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to jail for using the wrong pronouns in a restaurant. You call someone sir and you're in handcuffs. It's like
right. We've just gone through this. How freaking hard is it to say, hey, guys, instead of talking about this, they're all arrested. We got them in last night. Like, that's what I wanted to come out and say is they're in jail. They're all in jail. We're going to prosecute them.
Right. And to those who say we're not giving her a chance here, the problem is that this is first principles in conservatism. This is first principles, I think, in American values. The understanding that the free speech versus hate speech argument is something that she should be. I mean, she came from Florida. This should be something that all people in conservative levels of influence understand the difference between violent speech, hate speech, and just free speech in general. This is an amazing flub here. And it almost, here's the thing that I hope that I'm misreading the situation when I say this. There are those who suspect that certain people in Republican power are just waiting for their turn to take undue power in the political process. And that's the kind of red flag that sets the other side off. Now, that is an opportunity to build a bridge. If the other side sees the use of hate speech language or the language around hate speech and says, hey, that's not okay, they say, hey, we've been saying that for a very long time. Here's a chance to build a bridge, maybe even bring you over to our side so you understand. This is the kind of thing that is incredibly divisive, and the conservative side needs to stay as far away from it as possible.
Well, let's remember that the problem with hate speech is we have to have speech that you hate, or else we don't have free speech. And every normal American and every freedom-loving person, no matter your political opinion, you know that. You know that, right? When your annoying Uncle Ted shows up for Thanksgiving and says ridiculous, stupid things, you got to put up with it because free speech, right? And the reason you do it is because somebody else may hate your speech, and you don't want to be shut down for that. And one of the problems here is this woman should be arresting people. They are clearly breaking the law. They're breaking the law at high levels. They are calling for violence. They're calling for the continuation of what happened. That's illegal. And instead of arresting them, she's out here screwing up the response. Go ahead, Ron.
Shouldn't there be, a clear thinking person should know the difference, very simple difference between emotions and actions. And if you say hate speech, you're talking about an emotion. Hate speech and love speech could literally be the same exact words, just depending on how people are taking. Mm-hmm. Okay. But violent speech, violence is action. Threats are action. If you are threatening the life of someone in what you are saying, and I saw.
We've had a glitcherooski with poor Ron.
All right. Pam down.
Pam has got to him. We'll bring him back in just a minute. That's right. Well, yeah, they've nailed him for being the scuba diver. Yeah. But I know exactly what.
One thing I saw in the chat is, one person out there was saying, as a Brit, do not let them put the word hate speech into law.
No.
Yeah. Because it is a slippery slope. And it's hate speech then becomes whatever they want it to mean. And that is the danger here. And that's what I'm worried about.
And I'll say this. I hope that Pam Bondi gets things turned around. As long as she's going to be the Attorney General, I'm rooting for her. I want her to do a good job. I thought she would do a good job. But, sometimes you think the pitcher is going to do a great job on the mound, and they don't. And you may like them as a person. You may want them to succeed. But if they keep tossing balls down the middle and home runs keep happening to the other team, at some point you got to pull them. Ron, we had to pull you, but you're back. Tell us what was on your mind as you get glitched out there, buddy.
I was Pam trying to stop me. I don't know. She didn't like my speech. No, I mean it's very simple. you know, you have violence, you have threats, you have hate. And what I was saying is Pam could easily see, anybody could easily see all of the threats, violent threats being made against very, very particular lives, names called out after the Charlie Kirk situation. And every single one of those people have an identity that you could easily go after. So you're absolutely right. Arrests should have been made. And as much as I may have liked Pam Bondi's run here in Florida, she either needs to step up to the plate, be spoken with, or somebody needs to replace her as quickly as possible, because it's not good for this administration and it's not good for the people of the United States.
I know things take time. We are now almost 1 year into the Trump administration, and the Epstein stuff, nothing. Promises made, not kept. The issues with what happened in terms of medical situations, promises made, not kept. Now, in the light of what's happened with Charlie Kirk, she comes out and flubs that too. Sorry, this is fail after fail after fail, and we need somebody who does a better time. I am not interested in setting a precedent where if the power changes again, there's censorship, the conservatives are driven off the web and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's good for society. Fix it now, Pam Bondi. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun. Explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so. To be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream, so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun.
Jump into the water!
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.